Many people here today. Isn't that nice? Thursday. I think he's sleeping. Morning. It's a nice day today, and I am going to talk about, or I don't know if I'll be talking about it. I'm going to tell you about something that I read several times in the last few years, and that is a very detailed account of someone working with a horse that is so terrified and angry that no one can even enter his stall, let alone ride him, which is the idea of horses. That have horses, they do something for you. You ride them, or they pull things, or whatever. And it is the most amazing thing, incredibly tedious in a way, and yet completely absorbing, because the purpose of it is to help the horse realize that he does not have an enemy. There's no enemy, no one to harm him, no one to do punishing things to him, there's nobody to denigrate him. And this is the task, basically the task of the person who is working with the horse. And it's at first the person who comes, and very often these are women too, for some reason. I think men can do this too, but they have to not have that authority thing going for them. And just a woman just sits outside the stall, doesn't do anything, doesn't say anything, but the horse knows that she's there. Because they can smell, they know, they hear, and she does nothing at all. She just sits for several hours and then leaves. This can go on for like a month, every single day. Just sit there, and then one day, the healer will stand up and move, not into the stall, but so that they can see each other. And that's all it is. She doesn't do anything. She's just standing there, and the horse can see her. And she can judge like how the horse feels about seeing her. That he can look, and then the woman can, as I say, it's a woman, can look back on when she was just sitting there. Now she's standing there. She's able to gauge like how the horse seems okay with it, or has still a little bit of anxiety moving against the back of the stall, or all the things that you can sort of tell with horses moving their hoofs and stuff. And then after a number of days or weeks just doing that, just depends on how deeply wounded psychologically this horse is, she will walk to the door of the stall. So they're more like face to face, not just faces, but bodies facing each other. And inevitably, they said that the horse is freaked out, but not so much because he now knows who this person is, just doesn't know why they're doing this or anything like that. And so there are some weeks doing this, and then one day she speaks. She says something like hello, or the horse's name, maybe something like that. Just that's it. And then standing there, maybe saying it again, depending on how the horse reacts, and then nothing, and then weeks of that or days of that, It was very interesting for me to note that the time periods are shorter, that she introduces herself, and sometimes they're, it seems like a big deal, but the horse has been brought to the place where he now may even expect it, although you don't know what he thinks. But he doesn't bang himself against the stall or leap up or do anything like that. He's just watching this person. And she speaks, and then sometimes the horse will make a sound. And that's like a great moment for the woman who's doing this. And then that goes on and so forth and so forth. It goes on until she actually opens the door of the stall and walks in. And that is the moment where the horse will either totally freak out and start slamming against and maybe even hurting her, or just backing up as far as he can go and watching. And that's what happened. He backed up. The person right in this telling the story. The horse backed up, but didn't get excited, didn't bang himself against the thing or jump, which is sometimes what they do. And then when she enters the stall, that's when the horse leaps into the air and slams himself against the sides of the thing. But then he stopped. He just did it once, But if it's not working, you have to evacuate right away, And so forth. It goes on and on this can go on for several months, a long, long time, until finally she can walk in there and touch him. And then he'll touch her back, here or here. And then she knows he's going to be well, he's going to be able to be ridden, he's going to be a good boy. And that's why I'm telling you this, because when I was reading it, I thought, this reminds me of meditation. Like in the early weeks or days or whatever, however long it takes you to do this, it reminds me of it. How like the feeling of anxiety or like waiting for something to happen. It's not happening. It's not happening. What's supposed to happen? They told me something's going to change, and it's not happening. And then going back over, well, what did I do? Did I, have I been doing it correctly? Have I been lifting the palm or doing whatever? Or am I letting my thoughts run away with me when I could stop them? Or am I just slow in seeing it? All of these things are going on. And this is like weeks and months, really, of just seeing the mind reacting like a horse in a stall, not as violent or anything. I suppose that can happen. But not a violent thing, but a lack of trust. And the whole purpose of the woman with the horse is to build the trust in herself and in the horse, so that the horse trusts her. He also trusts himself not to do the wrong thing and bite her or, whatever, hang her against the wall or whatever. And so they have reached a place of trust where she can now put her arms around his neck and he will kiss her on the face. And wow, that's a huge thing. And I feel that way about, especially in listening to other people talk about when they first start meditation, because all I have is my own experience, which isn't quite the same as what I'm talking about. And talking about how hard it is. And how, you don't trust yourself, and you keep saying, they say this is going to happen, but it's not happening. Or, why am I doing this anyway? I mean, what is this? What is this about? Maybe Buddhism isn't for me. Maybe I should be doing something else. Always coming back to it, though. It's like your mind is rushing around saying, I don't know what I'm doing, or everybody else seems to be getting this, but I'm not, or, I'm just really great. And then going back and looking, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or am I just in an ego thing where I think I'm doing great? Am I doing correctly? Going back over the very simple demands of this, and yet somehow we fight against it and bang against the walls of it, and if somebody comes near, we snort at them or something. I mean, it's just until there's a point where they say, where with the horse is no longer afraid, he no longer expects violence or anger. He has come to the awareness that there are other people in the world, not like his former trainer or whoever, that there's something else that's good. And I mean, this is to talk about this. It's not as if everybody comes here and is violently terrified and angry. It's just dealing with that part of ourselves that does not trust, that expects things to not work, or to make demands that it work, which is a kind of violence. And I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because the letting go of the expectation of anything is hard until you see that the universe is a good place. We've had some people here over time who had, some serious mental problems. They weren't crazy or anything, but just the anxiety was so strong, and how hard that is to get through that. And if there's nobody standing there, just waiting, it's they usually quit. They usually leave. That's why it's so, having a really good instructor, right, as we heard about, and Wompertian was like, he would always answer the questions, but not push anything, never push anything. So we can answer our own questions and not push ourselves, and then discover how nice and simple it is, how very easy it is, and how doing that eventually softens these things that we've come up against. So I don't have much more to say about than that. I mean, it's just an amazing thing to read about somebody who sits there like that, who just stands there, sits there. It has no expectation, theoretically. There's none. I'm just sitting here. In one account I read, she read a storybook. Just read a story to the horse sitting in a stall, And I wondered if they were all horse stories. Maybe not, but just simple short story, and that, like something out of Beatrix Potter or something. So it's really short. And just reads it, and the horse is. And then she notices that he's listening, and then waits for her to open the book next time. So that's what we can be for ourselves in meditation, and not beat ourselves and throw ourselves around the side of our cage if it's not going well. It comes and goes, and all we have to do is have trust, and that's why we have teachers, to help us trust. It'll be all right. You're okay. And we have each other too. And that's it. Oh, and I'm good. I'm right on time. So, no. Does anybody have any thoughts about this? Or, oh, yes. Wow. Okay.
I love this story, and I have a lot of thoughts about it. It brings to mind an idea that I sometimes use in my teaching of physical arts, of skating, of using gravity. You're just letting something happen versus making it happen. And I thought mostly of the woman sitting there for all that time quietly, how difficult that must be, because her sincerest goal is to help this animal, and she had to let it instead of do it. She couldn't go into the stall and just grab him by the neck and give him a hug. She had to sit there and let this happen And maybe that's also, I think I've experienced that with the meditation, that in the beginning you're trying to make it. But
Right.
basically, you have to let it happen. You have to provide the grounds to just allow it to happen. So that's an amazing, very informative story, and I see both sides of the terrified animal and the patience of this person. I don't know, it's very interesting to reflect on. Thank you so much.
Nippen pointed that out to me too. Reading the stories of Wang Puqian, he would always say, that if you want, it's like a cat waiting for the mouse to come out of the hole in the wall, so you're watching and you're going to get that. And so I utilized that mindset in trying to learn meditation. And I found it not helpful at all. And so I asked Nipen about it, and he said, don't try anything. Don't keep the thoughts away. Don't make the chipmunks run back into the hole in the wall. Just don't do that. Just let it all come and just see it. That's all you have to do is just to see it. And it made an immense difference, like overnight, that I realized that I was trying to control something. And all we're trying to do is just come back to the body, come back to the movement. And that's why the movement was so important to me, because I had something to come back to. It wasn't some idea or some thing. It demanded that I actually will myself to do it. Although it took care of my consciousness as well as my relaxation. It was a good thing. I didn't think about chipmunks anymore.
Yeah, it's a good story. You tell it well. By the horse and the trainer, both the horse and the trainer, either the horse or the trainer.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, a little quiet. It's a good story. It's well told. Thank you. To me, it's sort of, am I the horse? Am I the trainer? Am I both the horse and the trainer? Neither the horse nor the trainer. Am I supposed to identify with any of it at all? It's good when you have a story like that. You're not sure where you fit in. It sort of begs the question to me. There's no answer in the story, but it sort of begs the question: what's going on between them when there's nothing going on?
Yeah.
Right? There's something going on. They don't know. You don't know what it is. They don't know what it is. You don't know which side of that equation you're sitting on. That's a beautiful mystery, I guess. That's why it's a good story, because you know something's going on. Must be, or maybe not. It's just a passage of time. So that's sort of my reaction to it. I think it's a telling story. I think there are things that go on personally between two souls who are sitting quietly with each other, way beyond what we perceive and control or anything. And why interfere with it? Let it, and when it happens, let it happen. I guess that's the moral of the story. I guess that's my reaction.
I think that just the idea that we intend to trust, that the trust from both sides. I really like that. It's not like I'm going to get that horse to trust me. You know, I need to trust the horse too, and that's one of those things that can go on without somebody talking about it or doing anything in particular. I think just have it be, understand that it's one thing with a horse and a person, but it's just one thing.
Or maybe the takeaway for me is that I'm picturing the trainer paying attention. You know when someone's paying attention to you. You know when you're paying attention to somebody else. You know it. You know when you're not. I imagine the trainer really paying attention to the horse in a very careful way.
Yes. She's the one who comes and waits.
But I also imagine the horse is paying attention to the lady because it's terrified.
In the beginning, yeah, they're too scared. That's what I read anyway. I mean, I've been around horses who were scared. You know, usually everything that takes place in a stable where you have horses, that they always just get shoved into a stall somewhere, and rather than anybody working with them. Although there are people, and I think more often this sort of I'm going to go in there and show this animal whose boss has been now understood that doesn't work very well. And I worked at a stable where I had to leave. It was too violent, I was like 12 or 13 years old, and I just said, I can't do this. It's the punishment of the horses if they do something wrong. Well, constant disapproval. But that's, when you have 7 to 10 horses to deal with, that's sort of what happens.
And there's such an irony because we use the word stable to mean calm and
yes, level.
That's exactly what doesn't happen to horses in the stable.
Yeah. Or it should happen. It should happen. It should be. And then people who have a few horses, everybody seems happy. It's their oats and all that stuff. Wow. I'm just peering at you around the pillar here. You don't have to do anything.
I have so many.
I'm just waiting.
Yeah, so many things in my head that this story, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I just thought it was wonderful that someone would write that down with such precision and to all of the, and it would be next day, same thing, and what she thought at those moments. And, I thought it was a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I don't know if it was meant to mirror our practice or not, but for me, it was just, that's what's happening.
Yeah, I was going to say it strikes me as a good example of food for thought, in that there's so much that you can pull out of a story like that.
Yeah.
It sort of helps you to exercise these different thoughts and understand what, like you can place yourself as the trainer and how it works. Or there's a lot of different ways you can look at it and think on it, which is why as much as I often try not to, kind of spinning all over with these different thoughts. But I think one of the things that stood out to me and I thought as you were sharing this was, it seems like, not that I would claim I could tame a horse in such a scenario, but it seems like it's often easier to be patient and like help someone else get beyond a struggle like that than it is to be patient with yourself and help yourself through such a thing. So that was one thing that I kind of took away from the story, is that not that I have answered to it, but just the idea that I wonder about that. What is it about being patient with yourself that seems so much more difficult?
It's hard. Okay. I think we probably, thank you so much for coming. I have 5 minutes, but I don't have anything to do with it.